Guys, Olivia here. Welcome back. So today's video is going to be my August reading wrap up.
And listen.
Okay, so basically there's going to be 3 different parts to this video. The first part is all the books that I read this month, and I'm going to be giving you the summary of the books as well. The second part is all the books I bought this month. I'm not going to be explaining all of them because I'll be reading them in the future, and they'll be in future videos where I explain them. And then the third is my next month's TBR. So for this video, my September TBR. And again, I'm not going to be explaining those books because they'll probably be in the next monthly reading wrap up. So yes, let's get started with all the books I read in August. Okay, so this month I read 6 books, 7 if you count the one I DNF'd. I'll explain that when I get to it. So I read about 7 books this month. That's kind of average for me. I read about 6 to 8 books a month, so pretty good. I only have 2 in person with me, so the rest I'll just show you guys a picture of it. The rest are from the library, so I had to return those and stuff. But I'm gonna start off strong. Like I said, the only 2 physical books I have are part of a trilogy, the first 2 books. So Legend by Marie Lu and then Prodigy by Marie Lu. So I'm not going to tell you about Prodigy because it's the second book and it would give away the first. But basically, Legend is set in future America in Los Angeles, and the story goes between 2 characters. It's from 2 points of view, June and then Day. Basically, June is the Republic's prodigy. She got a perfect score on her trial, which every kid has to take at the age of 10. She's the only one to ever get a perfect score on it, so she's the Republic's prodigy. And then there's Day, who is the Republic's most wanted criminal. And basically something happens to bring them together, and that's their story. I can't really say any more because the story kicks off right away with a bang, so it's already spoilers straight off, right as you start reading. But definitely check it out. I gave Legend a 5 out of 5. It's my favorite book of the series, I think. I love the series. This is my 4th or 5th time reading it. I decided to reread it again. So, yes, I gave this book a 5 out of 5. And then the second book in the series is Prodigy, and this one I gave a 4 out of 5. I feel like this is the most boring book in the series. It's really good still. 4 out of 5 is still a super good score. But it's just a little bit more slower paced, which I like really fast paced books. So that's kind of why I gave it a 4 out of 5. Then the next book I read is The One, which is part of the Selection series. It's the 3rd book in the series. There are 5 books in total. I also read The Heir, which is the 4th book in the series, and then The Crown, which is the 5th book. So I can't really, again, tell you much about the books because they're later on in the series, and so there's spoilers and stuff. But I rated The One 4.9 out of 5. I usually I only do half stars and full stars, but this one, I wanted to give it a 5 so badly, but I just couldn't. I couldn't give it a 5. But 4.5 seemed too low for the book, so I gave it a 4.9. This is the only one with a weird number after it, I promise. I'm not rating books like that. And then I read The Heir, which is the 4th book in the series. I gave that a 4 out of 5. It was a little bit slower. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was just a little bit slower. I wasn't used to the characters because there's a bit of a time jump in the last 2 books. And so I just gave it a 4 out of 5. Still super good. Still recommend you read it. But yes, and then the final one is The Crown, which is the 5th book. And I gave that a 4.5. I like that one a little bit better than The Heir. It was a little faster paced, and I got used to the characters and started to really get to know them and stuff. So I liked that book a little bit more. And then I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. 5 out of 5. It was a super, super good book. I highly, highly recommend you read it. It's really good. The final book that I finished is Assassin's Heart, and I don't remember the author's name. I'm so sorry. I'm like not giving any authors because I returned the books. I don't have them with me. But the final one is Assassin's Heart, and basically we follow along with the main character Leah and her family and 8 other families are groups of assassins in a big city, and they're hired to assassinate people, kill people, and they do that for money. And something happens to Leah, and she goes on this big mission, adventure type thing. I don't want to give anything away because it's a big spoiler right at the start of the book. Go look it up if you want. I think it's probably part of the description, but I don't remember, so I don't want to give it away. But I gave that one a 4 out of 5. It was really, really good, but it didn't quite deserve a 5 out of 5. It kind of started off really, really slow, and I didn't like her, the main character, Leah, at first. But she grew on me really quickly. But yeah, it was really, really good. I definitely recommend it. There's a second book in the series, but I was going to read it, and then I realized it was a completely different character, but it was part of the series, and I really didn't like it, so I read like 2 chapters and DNF'd it. I wasn't even going to finish reading it, so yes. And then the final book that I read this month, I'm going to get so much hate on this. I did not finish this book. I got to page about 150, I think I was around, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it. I skipped ahead to the last chapter, read the last chapter, and then returned that to the library. It was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. I just hated Lucy. Lucy annoyed me so much. I think that's the main reason I didn't like the book. Lucy was very, very, very annoying to me. Okay, time for my favorite section of this video, all the books I bought this month. So this month's and September's reading wrap-up, where I haul all my books, are going to be huge. They're not normally going to be this huge. I just kind of went a little crazy, and now I'm limiting myself to 4 books per month. That's it. I obviously went way over it this month, but please don't judge me. This isn't normal. This isn't normal. I bought the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So first one is Shadow and Bone, then Siege and Storm, and then Ruin and Rising, and these are all by Leigh Bardugo. And then, actually, to read this month, I got A Study in Charlotte. This is by Brittany Calavaro. I think that's how you say her name. Sorry if I butchered it. I suck at names. This is the first book of the series, and I think there's 4 books. I bought this one specifically to read this month. So then another book by Leigh Bardugo, I got Ninth House, and I'm super, super excited to read this. I think I'm going to wait till like October or November to read this because it's like dark academia vibes, and I feel like those are very like fall, early winter vibes. So I'm really, really excited for this one, and it's something a little different that I don't usually read, but it sounds really, really good. And then I got The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've heard super, super good things about this. It sounds really interesting, and I can't wait to read that. That's all I have to say. So then I got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It's the first book in the trilogy, and again, it sounded super interesting. I prefer YA over new adult / adult. So most of these are YA books, but another mystery. I actually don't usually read mysteries, but for some reason I have a lot of mysteries in this haul, so hopefully I'm into it, because apparently I thought I would be. Another mystery, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Again, one I've seen all over the place. It sounds super good and super interesting. Hopefully I don't get too creeped out by it. I heard some people say it was kind of scary, so hopefully I don't get too scared. And then I got Normal People by Sally Rooney. Okay, we're finally to the final book in this haul. I told you I got a lot. This is not normal, like I said. But I got Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. This is another mystery thriller type book. And I haven't seen this one anywhere. I just found this at Target and picked it up, and it sounds really interesting. It sounds like another book I read, which I honestly can't remember what it's called right now. But it sounds similar to another book I read and enjoyed, and so that's why I picked it up. Like I said, a lot of mystery thriller type books, which I'm not usually into, but something took over me and I had to get this. Okay, so we finally made it to my September TBR list. Congrats, you've made it. I'm sorry I keep rambling on and on. So I have 6 books in my TBR list. I try to not have too many because I like to just pick what I want to read and then read it instead of like having to read books that I've picked out ahead of time. But 2 of these books you've already seen. The first one is A Study in Charlotte, and then the second one is the first book in the Shadow and Bone series. I really want to read these 2 this month. And then the rest of these are actually from the library. I would like to read more of the ones I own, but since I got so many from the library, I really need to get those read and returned. Because there is a time limit, so I feel pressured to read them. So the next book I'm going to read, this is the book I'm going to start reading actually today. It's The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm sure you've seen this all over the internet. Hopefully I like it. I've heard like mixed reviews. People either really like it or don't really like it at all. So I'm really, really hoping I like it because it sounds super good. Next book is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I'm covering up my library. This one has my library name on it. It's Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This isn't one of her most popular books, but I found it at my library and it sounds interesting, so I picked it up. And then Layla by Colleen Hoover. A lot of people love this author, and I read Ugly Love by her, like I mentioned before, and it was really good, so I think I really like her writing style. This one is more of like a mystery thriller, I've heard. And then the final book I actually just picked up today, it's another one by Christina Lauren. It's Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. This is another one of their super popular books. And when I saw it at the library, I figured I should grab it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below any future videos you'd like to see me do. And I hope to see you next time. Bye guys. Hopefully I didn't look bald this entire video.